What is up, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody. This is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We have reached 291. I am incredibly grateful to you guys for your support. Let's get started with tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Smackdown. As we opened up the show with a fatal five-way match, we had Drew, Cross, Woods, LA Knight, and Sheamus. One of the highlights of this five-way match was that in the corner, Drew McIntyre was hanging upside down, and he sat up to do a suplex, taking out both LA Knight and Cross. We also saw everyone get 10 beats of the Balor, except of the ballot, as they call it. Everyone got 10 beats. We're used to wondering whether it's 10, 20, or 25, but everyone got 10. Everyone except Drew McIntyre, that is. In the meantime, we saw those two face off and then get two separate pinfalls at the same time. And I have to agree with what the crowds chanted tonight, and that was triple threat. However, next week, Sheamus and Drew are going to go at it. The Celtic Connection is what I will call them, because that other name is not very PG and it is not very morally appropriate. But in any event, we have two of the Celtic Connection tag team, Drew and Sheamus, to face off next week to see who will be the contender for Walter or Gunter's championship, which I predict they're going to ruin and eventually turn into a triple threat match, because I think a triple threat match is an excellent idea. Two 6'5" powerhouses going at it at WrestleMania. In small news, we have Kayla Braxton and Paul Heyman, who likes Kayla, by the way. Paul Heyman does an interview where he talks about gangsta or truth. Why not both? Then we find out that Rey Mysterio is going to be in this year's number one top pick of this year's Hall of Fame. And as I predicted, Dominic Mysterio, or as I like to call him from a scripted standpoint, Simp 19, ruined the whole darn thing. And it's kind of fitting for Rey Mysterio to be in this year's Hall of Fame, because they're going to be in California. And since I don't know if WrestleMania will ever go to San Diego, but Los Angeles is the closest we can get to San Diego, California. So I think it's fair. However, my prediction is if Rey Mysterio refuses to accept his challenge from his son, Simp 19, then what's going to happen is during the main event Hall of Fame speech, Dominic is going to do something to tick us all off, and Rey Mysterio is finally going to accept the match immediately. So I think the match will be accepted at the Hall of Fame speech. I don't know. What I do know is that tonight, after Simp 19 interrupted Rey Mysterio, Legado del Fantasma comes out. And as we all know, Santos has been fighting to defend the honor of Rey Mysterio. And obviously and officially, Legado del Fantasma is face, and which means for the first time, Zelina Vega is also face. And we all know Zelina Vega is a huge, outside of the ring, Zelina Vega is a huge Rey Mysterio fan, just as much as she is a fan of the late singer Aaliyah. However, this would lead to a match between Del Fantasma and the Judgment Day, and the match was pretty good, pretty interesting. Of course, we saw Dominic continue to provoke his father by doing that slide, drop kicking Rey Mysterio, and then going for the roll up pin, and then trying to provoke Rey Mysterio again, but whatnot. Rey Mysterio dodged an attack and refused to fight. However, he got some comfort from Legado del Fantasma and Vega. Now, for a while, we're used to seeing Vega manage all of Rey Mysterio's rivals, kind of like Harvey Whippleton with a kitchen next to a toilet seat would manage all of the rivals of The Undertaker. But this time, Zelina was on Rey's side because she's a fan in real life and got to express that on screen. Nonetheless, I really want to see Rey Mysterio. Hopefully, in my opinion, I would love to see Rey Mysterio have his last match against Dominic and win, but we all can't get what we want because Ric Flair didn't win his last match. But then again, Ric Flair kept trying to come back and he went with his son in law, Andrade, former client of Zelina, and that didn't go as well as planned. Rick, don't do nothing else. Please protect yourself. Moving forward, we have the Raiders versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet, and we saw it wasn't as good. Let me just say this. It wasn't as good. It was good, but it wasn't as good as that NXT TakeOver match before WrestleMania 35, which involved, I'm talking about Zelina a lot, um, Zelina's husband, Alistair, with Ricochet versus the Raiders. And this time it ended the same way that it did that time, except the partner was Braun Strowman. But it ended with Ivar splashing Ricochet for the win after Valhalla had creeped out Ricochet. How is Samantha gonna stand there and let this woman scare her man like that? Fight for your man, Samantha. I'm just kidding. And other small news, our funny parody of the week comes from The Miz and Maurice as they do the parody for the Tom Cruise movie that went out. However, there was a particular moment that many people talked about where, let's just say there was a particular moment because I like to keep things clean. But there was a particular moment during this parody where Maurice and Miz talked about big moments and other stuff that's big, and a particular segment happened that had many fans using the Dolph Ziggler 2019 quote, which said, "That should have been me." I'm not saying that, but I know how people are, especially guys. Now, as funny as that segment was, I still think the Seth Rollins Becky Lynch parody of the Joker was my favorite one of all time so far. Let's see next week if anyone tops Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, because so far, in my personal opinion, no one has. Now we have Shotzi and Charlotte Flair and a SmackDown short because Charlotte wants action. But we almost saw Rhea Ripley, Mistress Rhea, Dominic's Mistress Rhea, BDSM style, come out and disrupt Charlotte Flair. And we thought, I think Rhea thought that she was going to do to Charlotte what Stone Cold did on this very date to The Rock in his match with the Hurricane. You guys remember that when Hurricane defeated The Rock on this very date right before WrestleMania, thanks to Stone Cold's distraction. Biggest win of Hurricane's career. But nonetheless, it was not enough, and Charlotte Flair still made Shotzi Blackheart tap out. And let's get to the end of the show. We have the Usos having a segment. We all saw what happened Monday night, and if you followed me in the past, you've probably heard me say that I had a huge feeling that this was going to happen, and I was correct. If you watch, I told you guys that there was going to be a build up in my prediction. I predicted that there is going to be a build up between the Usos and versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And that piece of that prediction puzzle was halfway completed this past Monday when Jay returned and attacked Sami Zayn, which I knew would eventually happen. After that eventually happened, Jay came out and explained everything tonight. He said, "What would you guys do?" And that is true. Basically, the moral of tonight's episode, moral of this season in WWE is what Vin Diesel said. It's all about family. And it's all about family between Simp 19 versus 619 and the bloodline issues. It's just a whole lot of family drama. It's all about family. And tonight they talked about Cody Rhodes and like Candyman, except he has to say it 3 times, just like the name Jesus at a Pentecostal intervention. You say his name, Cody Rhodes shows up. Say his name and he'll show up. That's what they used to say in church. And Cody Rhodes showed up tonight, but he didn't come alone because Sami Zayn once again came in through the crowd with a hoodie. Why? I'm not even gonna. Nope. I'm not gonna make that opinion. But in any event, Sami Zayn came out once again through the crowd in his hoodie, and a fight erupted. They fought in the crowd, and so forth, and that's how the show ended. I still think, I still think, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will face the Usos at WrestleMania. I don't know if they're going to take the titles from the Usos at WrestleMania, but I know that match is going to happen because they are slowly building it up. So let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about WWE right now, as well as the thoughts of this review. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's all the time I have for you today, and I'll be glad to see you guys again on another review on all things wrestling. Also, glad to know that WWE is about to go international after WrestleMania, as far as pay-per-views are concerned. But in any event, see you guys next time. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.